Welcome back. For 2 years, a community over on the west side had limited access to their library.
Yeah, and that officially changed today with the reopening of the Forest Hills Branch Library. Big moment there. With the help of a mariachi band, library staff welcomed visitors to the newly renovated branch in District 7. The crowd, some of the first to see the newly improved library. It initially closed back in 2020 for renovations, but while that was happening, the 2021 winter storm hit, causing considerable damage to the building.
So fast forward 2 years later and $1.6 million in building and service upgrades, and the doors are once again open. The director of the San Antonio Public Library System says the community has a big surprise in store.
We completely reconfigured the space, make it more user-friendly, make it more accessible. It looks more open. We created a new meeting room that's more flexible to allow for not only meetings, but for programming. So there's some new elements that we introduced as part of the renovation that will make the space much more user-friendly and more attractive.
And starting today, all services and resources are now accessible at the Forest Hills Branch Library, and its operating hours are back to the normal ones. For a list of those, just head over to mysapl.org.
And if you've stepped outside this Saturday, you know that you definitely need the jacket, and in spots, the umbrella. Look outside with live cam shows some raindrops out there on the camera. We do have some light rain showers that are still pushing across portions of south central Texas. So that has been one of the big stories today, after even finding a little bit of snow across portions of the hill country earlier this morning, as well as the cold, unseasonably cold. It is going to be a chilly back half of the weekend as well as we gear up for our Sunday. A few more showers certainly possible through the overnight hours tonight and into the first half of the day tomorrow. Wanting it to warm up maybe a little too cold for you. We do have some warmer temperatures in the forecast into next week. We'll get you all those details coming up after the break. Well, we had that cold front that moved into the early morning hours of our Friday yesterday. That sent in colder than average temperatures for the weekend. And when you combine that with some moisture that we had streaming in from the west early this morning, folks up in the hill country, especially Edwards, Real, even portions of Kerr County, woke up to some sights like this. Pretty incredible for the month of March, especially the middle of March. There was a dusting of snow across grassy and elevated surfaces. Now, that all transitioned, of course, to cold liquid rain by about lunchtime. And that's just still what we have streaming across portions of the area here this 5 p.m. hour. You can see, especially here in San Antonio, across the western half of Bexar County near SeaWorld, Leon Valley, stretching up to Helotes, seeing a little bit of that light rain this hour, even over in the Windcrest area there as well. Down 181 farther off to the southeast in between Poth and Karnes City, right there on the Wilson-Karnes County line. A little bit more of that light rain streaming farther off to the east, and that does continue even northwest of town. Bandera, Medina, over in Concan, northern Uvalde County, seeing a little bit of light rain. We'll continue to monitor these light showers here over the next several hours. I do think, though, if you're stepping out for any Saturday evening plans, while it is a good idea to take the umbrella with you, you can see here on your Futurecast by about 7 p.m. coverage is expected to come down a bit more. And then by about 10 o'clock, most of us are dry out there, still cloudy and cold, but we're not finished with the rain chances. Into the overnight hours, very early morning hours of our Sunday, by wake up time around 7 a.m., especially to the south and west of San Antonio, we are expecting some more scattered showers to move into the region there as well. That continues throughout the first half of the day, and then into our Sunday afternoon, we look to dry things out a bit more yet again, and maybe some peaks of sunshine returning, helping temperatures climb into the mid-50s. Now, still colder than average, especially as we head into our Monday, which, by the way, is the first official day of spring. There we go. Not really feeling a whole lot like it, though. Low 50s there, but we will start to warm things back up as we head into the middle of next week. You can see, though, as we take a live look outside right now, still have the thick overcast skies in place. Temperatures sitting in the upper 40s here in San Antonio, officially 49 on the south side of Bexar County over there at Stinson, 51 in New Braunfels, 41 in Comfort, still holding on to the 30s, though, over in in the Los Maples area. Definitely take the jacket stepping out for any of those evening plans. You will want it for the back half of the weekend as well. Upper 30s, low 40s kickstart the day on Sunday. So yet another cold start for the back half of the weekend. Mid 40s by 11 a.m. And then if we can find some of that cloud cover to break up just a little bit into Sunday afternoon, those temperatures do look to head for the mid 50s. Now again, colder than average into Monday, around 52 for that forecast high, maybe a few isolated showers. The humidity returns Tuesday and into Wednesday of next week, and you can see what that's going to do to our temperatures. Even warmer, 70s near 80, and then we'll monitor for our next cold front to move in Thursday night. Maybe a few storms possible there, and temperatures not nearly as cold behind that one as what we saw this weekend, guys.
If you like the cold weather, enjoy it now.
There you go.
All right, Andrew, the young Spurs have learned a lot of lessons this season. They learned another tough one last night.
Yeah, a lot of people are putting this on the Grizzlies trying to force a comeback. It's also on the Spurs for giving up a 29-point lead against Memphis last night. We come back, we'll hear from the team on what went wrong down the stretch in this one. Plus, the Brahmas are finally back in town for their first home game in a month. There's a change at the quarterback position. Got that too next. The young Spurs had to suffer through another tough learning experience last night in a heartbreaking 126-120 loss to the Grizzlies. With Malachi Branham's three-pointer midway through the third quarter, the Spurs led Memphis 84-55. That's a 29-point lead. Devin Vassell also hit a three with a minute and a half left to put San Antonio up 109-100. That shot looked like it might have been the dagger. But the Grizz had other plans. They forced 3 Spurs turnovers and hit 3 triples on the other end to force overtime, tied at 109, then outscored the Spurs 17-11 in OT. The 29-point comeback marked the largest of the entire NBA season. It's a bitter loss, especially considering how well the Spurs played in the first half.
It was good in the first half, and it got bad in the second half, and that was a huge reason why we couldn't keep scoring, and we kept taking bad shots, and that put them in transition, and we're kind of playing on our heels for a lot of that run they made. So, we just kind of went away from it. I'm sure they keyed in on it, made it harder on us, but we also just didn't execute like we did in the first half.
I think if we just would have moved the ball a little bit more and just kept creating for ourselves. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think nobody was playing selfish too, so don't even get me mixed up with that. I just think that, we didn't make as many shots as we did the first half too, so just got to learn from it.
Next up, the Spurs will take on DeJounte Murray and the Hawks tomorrow at 3 p.m. Murray arrived in San Antonio this afternoon. We'll hear from him tonight on the Night Beat. Head coach Hines Ward and our San Antonio Brahmas return to the Alamo Dome this afternoon for the first time in a month, preparing for their first home game since their season-opening loss to the St. Louis Battlehawks. After a convincing win over the Orlando Guardians in Week 2, the Brahmas have stumbled a bit, scoring only 19 total points in back-to-back losses against the Houston Roughnecks and the Seattle Sea Dragons. Quarterback Jack Cohen has struggled to keep the offense moving with a 58% completion percentage and 625 total passing yards. Coach Ward announced today that the Brahmas would give Reed Sennett the start this weekend instead. Reed played college ball in San Diego and has a few years of experience bouncing around practice squads in the NFL. Now it's his turn to try and give the Brahmas a spark.
We will go with Reed and to start the game off. Both quarterbacks will play, but I think it's time for Reed to get his opportunity. Both guys had competitive camps. Jack edged out Reed earlier in the camp. We are where we are, but it's not just all on Jack. I just think offensively we just need a change.
The Brahmas started this season wanting to impose their will physically on opponents at the line of scrimmage. Do they think they've accomplished that so far?
No, I don't think that it's happened enough. I really don't. I think that we have the guys to make it happen. We just haven't kind of been all on the same page, so I think it's going to be an opportunity for us to do that.
Our destiny is pretty much in our hands. At the hand of all the games that we played, we've never felt like teams just outright beat us. And we're waiting to put that perfect game together. We're not really waiting. We're trying to force the issue. We really believe in ourselves. We know how good we really are. We just got to put a full game together and put it out on the field.
After this afternoon's walkthrough, the Brahmas held a meet and greet with veterans and signed autographs for wounded warriors. Tomorrow is Military Appreciation Night in the Dome, one of many reasons to come out and support the Brahmas. Here's the kickoff. They will take on the Arlington Renegades tomorrow night. Remember, kickoff has been moved up to 8 p.m. After leading Texas A&M Corpus Christi to their first NCAA tournament victory, Shaka's head coach Steve Lutz is heading to Western Kentucky. The school announced the move this afternoon. Lutz is an East Central High School alum and led the Islanders to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances and a Southland Conference title. In his 2 seasons with the program, Lutz is 47-23 overall. This is his second head coaching job. Western Kentucky has not made it to the NCAA tournament since 2013. Well, we didn't get the battle for Texas in the second round, but number 2 Texas still has their hands full with number 10 Penn State. The Longhorns rolled past Colgate in the first round, 81-61 on Thursday night, and hit 13 of their 23 three-pointers. And the Lions, meanwhile, were a slight bit more efficient in their 76-59 victory over number 7 Texas A&M, making 13 of their 22 threes. As Texas says, this second-round matchup all comes down to preparation.
They got a couple unique players who are really good around the basket and getting other people's shots. So it's no different than any other team. Prepare the right way, watch a lot of film, honing on the details of what they're trying to do and just locking on that. But coming off the Colgate game, definitely got a sense of urgency running people off the three-point line. That'll be a big key in this game.
Tip-off at Wells Fargo Arena in Des Moines is set for 6:45 tonight. For the second time ever, a 16 seed took down a number 1 seed. This time around, Fairleigh Dickinson made history by taking down Purdue 63-58, and many consider this to be an even bigger upset than UMBC's victory over Virginia in 2018. Sean Moore hit the dagger 3 with a little over a minute left. He finished with a career-high 19 points in the victory. FDU has the shortest roster in Division I men's basketball with an average height of 6'1", and they didn't even win their conference tournament. The Northeast Conference champions Merrimack were ineligible, so the Knights earned the automatic bid by default. Now, after a first 4 win over Texas Southern and a shocking victory over Purdue, the Knights are still dancing.
We knew they was going to throw multiple punches. Just throw a punch back. You know, we knew what type of game this was, and man, it was a game of runs, and we showed why we belong here.
My dad was a big boxing fan. Styles make fights, and our style, I thought, hurt them a little bit. I thought that the press, the up tempo, the speed, the quickness, and our guys just, I mean, they defended their tails off and played great. So unbelievable win. We're very happy to survive and advance and move on.
We'll see how long Cinderella stays in the tournament. With that, we'll be back after this.
That's all of our time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here for the Night Beat after NHL hockey.
Have a good evening.